you have said numerous times that these documents point to Facebook not doing anything about its platforms promoting misinformation and hate. Could you give us some examples of how this works and what Facebook isn't doing?
I want to be clear, it's not that Facebook isn't doing anything. Facebook has pointed out they've invested something like $16 billion, I think it's $13 billion since 2016 on issues around safety and integrity. But the question is, how much should they be spending? Is the amount of spending that they have today enough? And Facebook's documents point to over and over again that there are many, many solutions, many of them not even content-based, that would make the platform safer for everyone. One of the core things that I'm trying to draw attention to is the underinvestment in languages that aren't English. They know that they face most regulatory scrutiny in the United States, and so they try the hardest to keep the platform nice in the US. Unfortunately, the most fragile places in the world are also the most diverse when it comes to languages. Facebook's current strategy for safety is that Mark Zuckerberg has said, engagement-based ranking is dangerous because people are drawn to extreme content. But don't worry, AI will save us. The problem is that strategy requires us to build those AI systems over and over and over again in each language for the platform to be safe. And right now, Facebook is not doing that.
Is it just a question of investment, or what should Facebook do to address the issues? Should it change the algorithm? What solutions do you have?
I'm a big proponent that, if we rolled back the clock and looked at what Facebook was like in 2008, 2009, like before we had an AI telling us what to focus on, we had a Facebook that was about our family and friends. Facebook has said, we can't do time-based ranking, you won't like it. Yeah, if you took the current Facebook today and switched it over to a world where the AI wasn't focusing our attention, it's true, you wouldn't like it. But if we redesign the platforms with the idea that they should be human scale, not mega scale with an AI focusing us around, those would be platforms that were about our family and friends. We could enjoy them, and they would be a lot safer.
And you're now in Europe, you're speaking to politicians, governments, you're going to be speaking at the European Parliament. When it comes to reining in Facebook, Meta, and big tech, what do you expect from Europe?
I'm hoping that Europe will stand up for consumers, because right now, consumers don't know if what's in the can is what's on the label. And what we see from the disclosures that I've made is that Facebook is misconstruing what their product is. The European Union has an opportunity to enforce transparency on the platforms in a privacy-sensitive way. And they have the ability to have regulatory muscle to make Facebook disclose what are challenges it believes exist with the platforms. Right now, people can't make informed choices on whether or not to use these things. And I feel like that degrades our autonomy because we don't have the information to make good choices, and that violates our dignity.
How much responsibility does Facebook CEO Mark Zuckerberg have when we look at the revelations that you made and the issues that Facebook is dealing with?
I really don't like to criticize individuals because I really think that this is a systemic problem. This is about incentives and about structures leading to bad consequences. But in the end, Mark Zuckerberg has 54% of all the voting shares for Facebook. He is probably one of the most powerful unilateral leaders in the world. At the end of the day, he is responsible for the system he built, and he has the ability to change that system. And so given that he would rather shift the conversation to video games when people are dying as the result of the actions of Facebook, I think that means that Mark needs to either say, no, I need a reset, we need to change, or he needs to let someone else do that.
Why was it important for you to come forward with this?
I saw a pattern of behavior where I believed there was no chance that Facebook would be able to solve these problems in isolation, that there were too many organizational pressures, the incentives were misaligned, and I knew that if I didn't do something, and I saw what I feared was going to happen continue to unfurl, and like Ethiopia announced a state of crisis yesterday because the situation there has decayed so much. I knew I could never live with myself if I watched 10 million, 20 million people over the next 20 years die because of violence that was facilitated by social media. And so people often ask me, am I stressed right now? Like, talking to all these people, like it's such a whirlwind. And compared to living with that secret, like everything feels very calm right now. because I know this is not my problem anymore. It's a thing that we together can solve.